The process to potentially host the Olympic Games can be long and strenuous, but for Derek Miller, the president of the Salt Lake City Chamber of Commerce, it was well worth it to bring the Winter Games back to Utah.
There's obviously a lot that goes into making a bid. You've got to put a budget together. You've got to make sure that you can demonstrate that you can host a successful games. You've got to make sure that you've got the right venues for it. But I would say the most important thing is to show that you have great community support.
And when it was announced 2 weeks ago that Salt Lake City would be the host of the 2034 Winter Olympics, fans were more than happy to voice their support for the return of the Games to Utah.
The Winter Olympics in Salt Lake City, they did a fabulous job. I think they did one of the most fabulous jobs of all nations with Olympic preparation. So I think LA is going to have their work cut out for them to do as good of a job as Salt Lake City has done.
In 2028, Los Angeles will be joining Paris and London as the only cities to host the Olympics 3 times. Many USA fans, such as Steve McNitt, a volunteer for the 1984 Olympics, are looking forward to the return of the Games to the City of Angels.
I'm excited that they're doing it a little differently. It's going to be a lot of different events in a lot of different places, but I expect it's going to be amazing. And because it's LA, LA does... California, we do things big and we do things right, and it's not that they're not doing it right here, they're doing great, but it's going to be just off the charts.
With the U.S. hosting one of the biggest world events twice in the next 10 years, the hope is to make the United States feel, well, a little more united.
I think when you look in the United States right now, we see a lot of political division. So having the Olympics and having sports is something that can bridge the divide and maybe heal some wounds. So that's what One for All means for me, and I think especially in Utah, we can be a model for the country about how people can have differences, but they can still be respectful and still work together towards common goals. At a time when the United States and the world seem as divided as ever, it's important to remember our similarities and how simple things like sports can bring us together. In Paris, Luke Galindo, Cronkite News.